But add a Breathe Right strip and pow, it opens your nose up to 38% more. So you can breathe and do the one thing you want to do, sleep. Add Breathe Right to your cold medicine. Shut your mouth and sleep right. Breathe Right. And look for the calming scent of new Breathe Right lavender in the sleep aisle.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Kevin.
Blah, blah, insurance. Person, come help.
Hey, Grandma. 6 callers ahead of us, Jimmy.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. There to help you get to a better state.
Ride on the most treacherous highway in the world to experience the high risk of heavy rescue. Highway Through Hell, Sundays at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 62 degrees under fair skies. Today, sunny, high 79. Winds west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 53. Winds light and variable. Wednesday, sunny along with a few afternoon clouds. High 78. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
That was your local weather on the 8th. We're glad you're starting your amazing Tuesday morning with us right here on AMHQ. Our live team coverage of the big weather stories on the board this morning include Mike Seidel in Chicagoland. We've got raw cold temperatures coming into that area. Wind chills are a little cooler than the mild air he's got this morning, but we're also talking about the fog in a lot of locations. Kate Parker is tracking a line of storms to the southeast so that you'll know when to leave the house and when to be on pause. Tom Nizzle is watching a pattern, a persistent pattern that may bring a white Christmas to an awful lot of stuff. When Tom Nizzle smiles, it usually means snow and winter. So millions of us are hitting the roads at exactly the same time, and millions of us are going to be facing some issues like this. This morning, we're showing you pictures out of Tampa. We've shown you some pictures out of Philly that look exactly like Tampa right now because it's all fogged out. All around Lake Michigan, we've seen some fog kind of move in and drift in as well. Tampa, is that really new? Where's that one out of? Tampa as well this morning? Yeah, you've been sending us social pictures. Anywhere from St. Pete, which is at 0 visibility, all the way up to Inverness, and really all the way to Crystal River. So we've got 0 visibility in those entire areas in central Florida. So be careful as you're driving this morning. An awful lot of locations have some very heavy fog. And we'll talk about why. In this area of high pressure, we've got some cool air, but it's still warmer than normal in a lot of locations. So we'll watch that area of high pressure. But we've got a very wet East Coast system, and we've got more wetness moving into the West Coast as well. Let's time this one out for you. It's more afternoon into the evening hours when we watch the flow of moisture kind of come on shore. It's less than an inch of rain, but we've seen so much, incredible totals of rain. San Francisco, 9 inches for the month. I think Sacramento was just at about 8 or 6 inches, I think, for the month. So some big rainfall totals. Those will get added to today, and we'll also pick up some snowpack here. Let's get to this system. Today, what we've got is some mild air that's kind of holding right here. But notice the cold air that's pulling down in behind that low as that low moves out. It'll do this. Pull some of that changing precip all the way down just in time for the cooler and drier air. Then also you'll be getting some moisture on your drive home as you get to the northeast. But let's get into Chicagoland this morning. This morning it was damp. We had a fog, had a heavy pocket of fog on the lakeshore. It's looking pretty good for you right now, Mike. Has that been burning off for you?
Yeah, it's getting better and better, Sam. The visibility at the surface has been pretty good since sunrise. That is for driving the commute here in the rush hour. It's a little slow going towards town, southbound on Lakeshore. And we've had a lot of joggers out here this morning because of the temperatures being nice and mild. And the dew point has been right there with the temperature. So when you put that dew point over the water, which is 36 degrees, you bring that dew point and temperature together, and you get the fog. So we have fog rolling off the lake, but the skyline now, we can see the tops of most of these buildings, and we've had big improvements out at the airport. Midway now, up to 4 miles. O'Hare, a very busy airport, also up to 4 miles, but the ceilings now are still running 500 to 600 feet. That's the base of the clouds. We've had some cancellations and delays at both airports, but just a small percentage, about 3 or 4%. So right now we're looking better. There's no ground delay program right now at O'Hare. The only ground stop now extended till 9:30 at Philadelphia, as we saw the picture, Sam, back east. Back here, it turns colder and windier this afternoon. Highs tomorrow back to about freezing, which is close to the average of 34. 1 year ago today, Sam, not 45, it was 7 above zero. Quite a change.
And now I feel so much better knowing that, Mike. All right, thank you very much. And I know folks waking up in Chicagoland do appreciate the milder air from this time last year. All right, let's get you caught up on the pattern. The pattern is everything over the next couple of weeks, because we've been saying all morning long that about 98 million of us are going to be hitting the roads or the skies to travel someplace for the holidays. And this pattern is going to continue for a week and a half at least. And that is that these wet systems come off the west coast. They make a dive, because they're being pushed by the jet stream, down into the Gulf. They get plenty of moisture here. And then, notice this. There's an expanding area of cold air from the heartland all the way into New England. Do those storms, those wet storms, do they get thrown up into that cold air and make ice and snow? Or do they hang into the southeast and make thunderstorms and rain? Either one of them is going to be some travel nightmares, but let's get a better understanding of the pattern. Mike and Tom, the place to go. Good morning, guys.
Hey, good morning to you, Sam. Or does it do a combination of the two of those and really create a mess potentially in the Tennessee River Valley? When we look at where the storm is now, Tom, it's in the west and it's not well defined, which really can cause some issues.
When you're dealing with these features that are not well defined, it's a big challenge for the computer models to accurately predict how they evolve going across the U.S.
Which makes perfect sense. So we look at it now in the west. If you take a look at this, there's no well-defined low. There's no a well-defined trough that's sitting in there. You really have to search for the features.
And we are searching here, and there is a little spin that I've outlined there in the atmosphere, and that is one of the features that is going to help to spin up this system as we get into the Central Plains over the weekend and then over to the southeast. So there is that upper level low. This system really begins to develop across the central part of the nation Friday.
The trough is not deep, though, that's there. And the jet stream, even though it does dip to the south, it doesn't bring truly arctically cold air to the northern states.
No, it does not. And this is not a classic setup for our typical major blockbuster nor'easters. In fact, early on, the models were showing the system moving in this direction. There's a little more of a southerly track to the system now, and it doesn't have a tremendous amount of moisture once it gets into the colder air.
Including what we're getting, in the next couple of days, in addition to what we'll get coming down the pike here, Tom, how much are we thinking?
Well, the area that I'm outlining here from the European model is this area here in the Virginias, out across the Appalachians for the most likely snowfall, probably in the range of a few inches. We're not at this point where the computer runs talking double-digit snowfall. And again, back into interior New England, upstate New York, this is how it plays out. It's really just a wintry mix into Saturday morning. As we get into Saturday evening and it gets into the colder air, bigger area blue across here, that's the snow. And then finally, as we get into Sunday, you can see the snow is really concentrated places around Albany, upstate New York.
I would say this, if you're traveling anywhere around I-40 or northbound, heads up.
Yeah.
That could be an area of concern, even if it's not just snow, Maria. It could be a mixer, could be some icy conditions, and it gets very hilly there in Virginia and West Virginia. We know that.
Oh, yeah, and we know everyone's going to be out on the roadways. Definitely plan ahead. Let's get you planning ahead by also looking back, because it's a really cool little tidbit here. I want to take you back to Friday and our big storm along the west coast. All of that moisture, the water vapor imagery showing the spin of our low. Well, we're going to track it. Here we hit up Sunday, and it's in the Denver area producing snow. When we fast forward from Sunday to today, and it's all the way into the Midwest. It's leading to the clouds, showers, even some snow there. So 2,000 miles and 5 days later, it's now producing some nasty weather through parts of the Midwest and the Great Lakes. So we tracked some of the rainfall, and it is rain right now if you're in the Chicago area, Kalamazoo, rotating through Cincinnati and Columbus. On the backside, you have some snow. Getting you through the day, though, we're going to scour out some of that fog, like in Chicago. We're going to notice by the evening rush, some of that beginning to clear out. Milwaukee, certainly the case, but also from some very gusty winds, 10, 20 mile per hour winds behind some of those showers. By tonight, it's out of the Midwest and traveling some more. Syracuse, New York, Boston, all looking at rain. So coast to coast storm in about 5 or 6 days. We go from the West Coast to New York, Sam. That rain here now out by tomorrow.
All right, that's good news. news. And if you're grabbing your keys to hit the door in the southeast, pause just a moment because Kate Parker is actually out there with one of our mobile units. And in that, she's got the radar. She'll be able to show you where this one particular line of storms is moving. So whether you should stay or go, it's all up to Kate Parker. Coming back right after your local weather on the way.
Clean up this holiday with the cordless Dyson DC59 vacuum. Expert service, unbeatable price, Best Buy.
MegaRed is an omega-3 supplement recognized by the Hope Heart Institute. Research shows omega-3s may reduce the risk of coronary heart disease. The omega-3s in MegaRed are easily absorbed by the body, and it's just one small pill a day. Support your heart health with MegaRed.
Hello, I'm an Idaho potato farmer, and our big Idaho potato truck is still missing. So my buddy here is going to help me find it. There we go! It's out there somewhere, spreading the word about America's favorite potato, heart-healthy Idaho potatoes, and the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women campaign. If you see it, I hope you'll let us know. Always look for the grown in Idaho seal.
Currently in our area, 62 degrees under fair skies. Today, sunny, high 79. Winds west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 53. Winds light and variable. Wednesday, sunny along with a few afternoon clouds. High 78. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Sunday night. Get down now! Prospectors, the $1 Million Mountain. Sundays at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Find it. Go out there and find that place. Because only you know where you're going. This isn't a dress rehearsal. This is life. Yeah. And it begins when you find your fit.
Christmas is days away, so let's act fast, really fast. Let's do must-have, know-how, just right, right now. Last minute? You got it. Or get one of these. Let's put the list to bed. Add up the savings and count down the days. That's how to holiday. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Buy a combo kit and get up to $150 toward any cordless power tool, radio, or battery.
10 minutes past the hour, and right here, somewhere under there, is Philadelphia. This is at the airport. 38 degrees, obviously foggy, and it's creating big problems at the airport. We've had that ground stop extended, so if you have a ticket in your hand destined to Philadelphia, or you're waiting for somebody, you may be waiting a bit, because we have fog all across the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic. Some visibilities down to as low as 1/8 of a mile. Want to point out, Sam, New York not really seeing too bad of conditions. In fact, their ceiling's about 2,500 feet, so not seeing the airport problems there. That's good news.
Yeah, and look how far that goes into Virginia, and if you were to follow that map south, it would continue as well. So let's talk about our terrible commute commute by the time we get home. It hasn't been so stellar in many areas this morning, even though the skies should be cooperating. We've got that fog. And take a look at this picture coming in Pennsylvania. So you've been driving through these dense pockets of fog, and then when you get along the coastline in the northeast, there doesn't seem to be as much problems. The rain doesn't get into you until later on in the afternoon. So start out in the morning, and you've just got clouds and the fog to get through inland, get to a clear coast, but clouds will stay with you for a good part of the day. By the time you come home in the afternoon and evening hours, we're loading up some rain. We're doing that by throwing all that moisture up against the front, and as the front wipes to the eastern seaboard, it'll take that moisture with it. So talk about this or show this, and you can see that moisture coming through Pittsburgh at about 9 o'clock in the morning. Then watch that travel. It'll head a bit to the northeast, but there's more straggling down to the south, so it'll all catch up. By the afternoon hours, there's some scattered showers that are moving through eastern Pennsylvania as well. By the evening hours, some of that moisture will catch up and go through New York, all the way in through New Jersey, so the tri-state has got that as well. We're showing that all the way up through Boston by the time we get to the evening hours. So we'll use Philly as an example here of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, your forecast days. Rainy days this afternoon, then getting into great looking skies by the afternoon. Following your commute, we'll move that all the way down into the southeast. And if you look right in here is our Kate Parker. Kate, with the Toyota mobile unit, you can show us the radar. It actually, wait, is that a lake? Because it looks like you got water behind you, so you got some water there somewhere.
Yeah, this is the Savannah River right behind me, Sam, and actually right over my shoulder down here, this is the Augusta Canal. This has been around since the 1800s. Incredible stuff. Hydropowers is what we have going on here. So the water actually powers still some things here in town. Pretty neat. But let's talk about what's happening above that. Look at the clouds. You know, if you were with us about an hour ago, we still had some peaks of blue skies. Not the case any longer because that front closing in on us. Let's go right to the radar. I want to show you what's going on here. And you can see how we do have the rain coming closer. I also want to note for you, I know you're trying to time out your commute in Atlanta, and you know how bad rain can get there and really just cause the commute to be a big problem. Well, the bad news is we have seen a little bit of rain. It looks like we're freezing up a little bit here, but some rain reform back near Atlanta, so you are going to have a little bit of a wet commute on the east side of town. See, there it is. That's what I was talking about right here. So we did get a little bit of an extra line form here. Here's where we are in Augusta. You can see the rain heading our direction, so if you're trying to get out and about, maybe head to breakfast in Augusta, you maybe want to wait a few minutes. A little farther to the north, still raining in places across North Carolina like Charlotte. All right, Sam, back to you guys.
So we'll continue to watch that. Good news with Kate on the road is that you know exactly when to leave the house. Maria's got the rest of the forecast for the rest of the day after that line of storms.
That's right. I'm going to pick up where off and talk about that front that's coming through. We're already starting to see a lot of the breakup of some of that low cloudiness behind it, but out ahead of it, some brief showers, as Kate was talking about, and hitting just enough interstates that may have a damp morning drive. But let's get you looking to head to the lunch hour. By noontime, we're already seeing the sun break out in Atlanta, Montgomery, Nashville, still coming through basically east of I-85, Columbia, Raleigh, and Savannah. You still have a few more showers to go before the evening rush. Jacksonville, you're hanging on, maybe some extra clouds later in the evening, but everyone begins to dry out by later on tonight. And you can also tell by looking at the winds. If they're a little extra gusty, chances are pretty good that front's already on its way out. You can see that happening in Columbia, Sam, after 3 o'clock.
All right, Maria, coming up, we're going to show you an incredible light show. If you ever get a chance to see this live, you will never, ever forget it. Meanwhile, to see it right here on AMHQ, almost as cool, 10 million megawatts of power. It's about 5,000 times greater than the peak power at the Hoover Dam.
Ah, the bold new Camry. You can get a great deal during Toyotathon. I love the new look. And it's a blast to drive.
Oh, so you've driven it?
Yeah, taking it for a spin.
Toyotathon is on. Get low 1.9% APR financing for 60 months on the bold new 2015 Camry. Offer ends January 5th. Plus, every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, Toyota's no-cost maintenance plan.
I know a great place for a drive.
Toyota, let's go places.
Zantac heartburn alert! Stop! Nexium can take 24 hours to work. Zantac's different. Zantac rushes relief in as little as 30 minutes. For relief without the wait, try Zantac. No pill relieves heartburn faster.
New Move Free Ultra brings a revolution to joint health. It's the smallest joint health pill, now with a new triple action formula for joint, cartilage, and bone health. Move on to new Move Free Ultra.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Hi, Anthony. How much does my discount double check save me?
About $150.
Done.
Insurance, find me money.
I got you $1.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. There to help you get to a better state.
All right, listen up. Out on that field today, you will be ready for anything. And I want you to always remember, this is the greatest team you will ever be part of.
There's important work to be done. And only some able to do it. Can you make the cut?
Breaking wind and average fleece. Breaking wind and Duluth Trading Shoreman's fleece. Duluth Trading Shoreman's fleece. 3 gust-busting layers. 1 beefed-up fleece. Get one. Only at DuluthTrading.com.
Say hello to the new Weather.com. A beautiful new design with weather as the main story. The information you need, the site you rely on, the brand you trust.
Did you know that while you're going about your day, your immune system is fighting for you inside your body? Your immune system is a tiny special ops team preparing for a highly coordinated mission. But sometimes it gets tough in there. So give your immune system our most powerful boost yet. New Airborne Dual Action. An awesome fusion of antioxidants. Plus new beta immune boosters clinically proven to boost your immune system. So get new Airborne Dual Action, our most powerful immune boost yet.
Hey, I'm Stretch Armstrong. Remember how pumped you were when you got me for the holidays? Well, feel that excited again with the new Honda Accord during Happy Honda Days. It comes with a rear-view camera and Pandora compatibility. Nice. And just look at all this space. Yeah, I still got it. Get something you'll love at the Happy Honda Days sales event, where all 2015 models come standard with a rear-view camera.
No obligation, so call toll-free at 1-800-200-6120.
Every Sunday night. Get down now! Prospectors, the $1 Million Mountain. Sundays at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 67 degrees under fair skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 78. Winds west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 53. Winds light and variable. Wednesday, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny. High 78. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
On 20 minutes past the hour here on AMHQ. Getting a fog check. We've been tracking it and seeing where those visibilities are really cut down. It's all across the east. We're talking D.C., a little bit of haze there. Detroit socked in.
Yeah, look at that. We know Philly. Look at Tampa as well. We've been seeing the widespread fog over Florida. Tampa on your right. Dense fog advisories now have been extended in Tampa to 11. Likely to go on a little while. It's going to take some time to burn this off. It is very, very heavy. It's been 0 all the way from St. Pete, all the way through Inverness, Florida, and all the way up to Crystal River as well. So hugging that coastline there, it's been a real issue.
Yeah, so if you're heading outside, you're about ready to hit the road, just be prepared for a few slowdowns. You want to give yourself plenty of extra room between you and the car ahead of you. That could make all the difference as you run into some of this low visibility, especially in Florida, where it may literally be like a wall of cloudiness.
Yeah, and just go ahead and pull over and have a cup of coffee or get something to eat, because it's going to take some time for that to burn off.
It might be that long, absolutely.
All right, truly. Let's get a weather update. We're watching another round of snow, gentlemen.
Yes. so you want to talk about reducing your visibility. Heavy snow will do that. We've had some this morning in the upper Midwest, including Wisconsin and in Michigan, Tom, and some of these places. We'll get some decent accumulation.
We will, especially the UP of Michigan, the combination of this system, which is somewhat moisture-starved, but lake effect on the UP as well.
I feel like we haven't had a good reason to fire up the snowmobile and really get out there, so maybe this gives us that opportunity.
Oh, our winter recreationalists will like this, and the UP in particular, because several inches are likely. Let's look at the radar right now, and we can see the snow confined to this area right here. The system has a big spin to it here as that low works its way into Ontario, Canada.
All right, so we take a close-up look here. You can see it's generally the UP of Michigan where we have the heaviest snow right now. Marquette back through the Keweenaw Peninsula.
Absolutely, and this will continue throughout the day today, and it'll transition from the system snow to northwest flow off of the lake, actually producing lake effect snow later in that time frame. Visibility is down below a mile in a lot of these areas.
Copper Harbor looking pretty good here on the lens. You can see some snow on the deck here, and again off the water you're just going to get a full brunt of the wind, so it's uncomfortable.
Well, it is. Winds gusting over 30 miles an hour at times, and that just makes for a blustery day. We watched the computer model go forward here through this afternoon and into tonight, and you can almost pick out as we get to the end of this run going into that Wednesday time frame. You can see these narrow bands of lake effect snow off of Superior, Michigan, and even down across Lake Erie.
All right, so some spots might get some snow, maybe around Erie or between Erie and Buffalo, but here's a look at the big-time accumulations, roughly a foot potentially around Marquette.
Yeah, and that is all the lake effect. Get a little elevation there coming off Lake Superior. That will be it for the Great Lakes.
Okay, so that's going to happen for us in the Midwest. We transition back to the west, and we got pretty decent snow coming for the Sierra Mountains.
Welcome snowfall for this area. That natural reservoir there is going to be filled once again. Those areas of the Sierra there from the Donner Pass down to Sequoia National Park. As you can see, the whole range here lights up with the second round of snow that comes in the Tuesday night to Wednesday time frame. That is great news for this region.
All right, we're going to get some snow here that could pile up maybe to 1.5 feet in some spots, Southern Sierra, maybe as much as a foot here, Tom.
Yeah, and that is great news here. It is going to help to invigorate that snowpack. We take a quick look here. Last week, statewide, about 35% of what we normally should see for this time of the year, but we've increased that now, Mike, to 41%.
Hey, every little bit helps. A 6% jump in a week, not bad at all, guys. If we could keep that trend going, it'd be a pretty epic winter. We know it couldn't stay this way, but I think we're at a really good point right now. We're starting off well.
Yeah, it's a good start. Good start.
Talking about winter, all morning long we've been talking with New England residents who are frustrated with winter high heating bills. And some of you have been telling us about your bill on Twitter using the hashtag MyHeatBill. So how much did your bill jump? We want to hear about it. We got this tweet from I Am an Eagles Fan. At Team Champion Item HQ, heating a 7-bedroom, 2-bath home with gas in Pennsylvania costs $270 a month. We also heard from someone who lived in Boston last hour, and they said a much smaller apartment, and it was $700 a month.
Yeah.
A tip that this conversation has been firing up on Facebook. I know you guys have been tracking it. A tip that they were giving us is try to talk to your gas provider and see if they can offer a fixed plan, so you can, only pay a certain amount per therm.
And plan for that.
And maybe you want to try to lock it in now, because I think it's likely those things are going to go up and up and up and up and up with it.
Grandpa Bodie, Grandma said you used to be out of control.
Really? I guess I did take some risks. I trained a little bit differently. I was a little too honest sometimes. The media is useless.
You were out of control.
But not always.
If you're taking multiple medications, does your mouth often feel dry? A dry mouth can be a side effect of many medications, but it can also lead to tooth decay and bad breath. That's why there's Biotene. Available as an oral rinse, toothpaste, spray, or gel, Biotene can provide soothing relief, and it helps keep your mouth healthy, too. Remember, while your medication is doing you good, a dry mouth isn't. Biotene, for people who suffer from a dry mouth.
And so you can see, you're like right here, I can just, check my policy here, add a car, speak to customer service, check on a claim, all with the tap of my Geico app.
Oh, that's so cool.
Well, I would disagree with you, but that would make me a liar.
No, dude, you're on the Jumbotron.
Yeah, I pretty much walked into that one.
Geico. Anywhere, anytime. Just a tap away on the Geico app.
Did you get the chips for the party?
Nope.
Cheese plate?
Cheese plate. No. I made something better.
You use the oven?
Boom.
Pillsbury Crescents. Make the holidays pop.
Hello, I'm an Idaho potato farmer, and our big Idaho potato truck is still missing. So my buddy here is going to help me find it. There we go! It's out there somewhere, spreading the word about America's favorite potato, heart-healthy Idaho potatoes, and the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women campaign. If you see it, I hope you'll let us know. Always look for the Grown in Idaho seal.
From I wonder what it is to you'll never guess. Everything from LL Bean is backed by the same rock-solid guarantee. So while they keep guessing, you know that we'll take it back or replace it. LL Bean, guaranteed to please.
New Move Free Ultra brings a revolution to joint health. It's the smallest joint health pill, now with a new triple action formula for joint, cartilage, and bone health. Move on to new Move Free Ultra.
Fact. When you take Advil, you get relief right at the site of pain, wherever it is. Advil stops pain right where it starts. Relief doesn't get any better than this. Advil.
Currently in our area, 67 degrees under fair skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 78. Winds west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 53. Winds light and variable. Wednesday, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny. High 78. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Every Sunday night. Get down now! Prospectors, the $1 Million Mountain. Sundays at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Past the hour, welcome back into AMHQ, America's morning headquarters. Fog really being one of the big weather stories that we're following because it's everywhere, just about.
Yeah, it really is. And the pictures have been coming in from every city.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems to be getting worse and worse in areas like Tampa, where the visibility has just gone, down drastically.
Right.
So, pal, send us your pictures. We'll put them up this morning, let everybody know what they're driving into. Hey, both of them going. Real live data will show you that we've got some moisture moving in on the West Coast, but we've got all this stuff pulling out of the Great Lakes and headed east as well. We're going to see pattern like this set up for a couple of weeks now. And what it looks like is every one of those West Coast storms will take a dip with the jet stream, get all the way down near the Gulf. It'll pick up moisture from the Gulf, and then here's the big if. The big if is, with cold air opening up in the northern part of the country, do those storms run into the cold air, causing all kinds of cold problems, or will they just stay in the south with rain and storms? Either way, it's going to be some travel troubles. We're all over it today and for the next couple of weeks, really, with that pattern. Today, again, Central California, Southern California getting some light rain. It's about an inch of a rain in some of those areas. More as you start to get up into the hills, and then certainly an awful lot of higher elevation snow coming in, another 18 inches of snow possible in some places. And this is the issue this morning. We've been watching the cold air pull in around the backside of this low. So that's going to dramatically change the weather in the Chicagoland area. In a lot of places today, Mike Seidel is in Chicagoland. Started a little foggy, started nice and mild, started to see some wind chills. By afternoon, we're going to have that cold wind whipping right there where you are, Mike. Good morning, Mike.
Not including the... Good morning, Sam. Yes, it is going to get colder. That front now into western Illinois through the Quad Cities.
where temperatures in Dubuque and Davenport out in Iowa and Dubuque and out there right along the river have dropped now to the mid-30s, and the winds there gusting 30 to 35 miles an hour from the west-northwest. Downtown, we're still in the mild air for December. Keep in mind the average low is around 20 here in Chicagoland, and we're looking up Lakeshore Drive towards the downtown area. Traffic is backed up southbound, and what we're seeing is that's the Hancock building. That's the darker building, and it's poking into the clouds. It's up around 1,127 feet, so we know the visibility, the ceiling is down below that. In fact, out at O'Hare right now, the ceiling is 800. It's come up, and Midway, the ceiling, the base of the clouds, 500 feet. But the big change at O'Hare and Midway is the visibility. The visibility line of sight has come up way up. It was a quarter mile this morning, not good for flying, but now 6 miles and 4 miles respectively at O'Hare and Midway. That's going to help things out. We've had about a handful of cancellations and delays, just a small percentage of flights at both airports at this point. Here's your forecast. Back to reality. After a couple of very mild days here in Chicagoland and a far cry from last December, we go down below freezing after midnight tonight, Sam. Our high tomorrow around freezing. The average high is 34 degrees. So a great day for jogging, for walking the Pooch, Maria. Last year, they went 3 months, some folks. They couldn't even get out the door. It was the dogs wouldn't even go out the door. I talked to some owners, I remember, because they said, no, I'm not going out the door. It's too cold.
I remember that well. I remember that well, Mike. Absolutely. But, you know, it's not as bad, right, as it could be. But interestingly enough, it was pretty bad a few days ago with this same system. And I want to show you the connection here to Mike Seidel in Chicago to what we were looking at Friday with our big West Coast storm. I'm going to show you the water vapor imagery, show you last Friday all of that moisture in California, the mudslides. Then by Sunday, you see that swirl, that's that storm producing snow in the Denver area was enough to cancel some classes for schools in the Denver metro. And then today, it's all the way into the Midwest, 2,000 miles, but still plenty of moisture, and it's still churning. And notice the winds too in Chicago. That's going to be an issue for you today, as well as in through Indianapolis. It is the rain though, pivoting through Cleveland, along with the low cloudiness. The snow, not as big an issue here, but as it does rotate, it's going to cool down places like Chicago, as we were talking about, but also those winds staying brisk. But you see, it doesn't stop in the Midwest. Our western system moving all the way into the Northeast, coast to coast, Sam, into New York today and tonight, out by tomorrow.
All right, so we'll hit the other coast. Another round of storms hitting California later on this afternoon, particularly into the overnight hours from the Bay Area all the way to San Diego. There will be some isolated spots that get 3 inches of rain. There'll be a very general 1 inch. This comes as many areas try to recover from last week's monster storm. Our Dave Malkoff looks at some of that damage and the relief heavy rains have brought to some historic drought areas.
International Terminal 8. Delayed and canceled flights weren't the only problem caused by this storm.
This is the master bedroom. That's the living room.
This is your bedroom here.
Yes.
There was a massive rock slide in Ventura County.
It's horrible. It's horrible because there's so many more things that I could have taken out than I did.
A tornado in South Los Angeles.
That's where I live right there, in the top of the roof. All that stuff that's flying in the video came from off of there. I mean, we in LA. I never thought that there would be no tornado out here.
And lights out right in the heart of San Francisco.
We're getting sent home because there's no power.
Here in the heart of Silicon Valley, these tech buildings have been hit by a lot of rain recently. Let's use the Adobe building back there to throw up a little Photoshop to demonstrate that this county alone has got 8,029 acre-feet of water in their reservoirs just from this storm. That translates to something like 2.6 billion gallons of water. Sounds like a lot, but it's actually only 5% of the county's total capacity. There's a similar effort here in Los Angeles County.
In the middle of a drought. Yeah, hopefully it keeps on raining.
This is how they collect those billions of gallons.
Yeah, all we need is the main ingredient for it to rain, and hopefully it does this season.
And push them back down into the groundwater.
So if this is just sitting here, how long does it take to get down to the aquifer below? A couple days. Just a couple days?
This rain won't stop the drought because it's only, forgive the cliche, a drop in the bucket.
We take a lot of pride in replenishing our aquifers.
It can be a dangerous situation, but folks here in the Bay Area are taking it in stride. In San Francisco, Dave Malkoff, the Weather Channel.
You have to love that Dave Malkoff does his own Photoshop in his stories. All right, we've seen some amazing rainfall totals from the storms that pounded California, nearly a foot of rain in some spots. But Mike and Maria will take this down and show us what that would mean if we had that amount of precip in other places.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you kind of break down the stats and how it all plays out. So let's bring you San Francisco first and show you how it has kind of worked out for San Francisco in the past week, okay? We're at 1.75 inches on average for a month to date, up through the first 2 weeks. But how much have we picked up so far? A whopping 9+, which is 550% of average. So what would that mean if this type of precipitation fell in other cities?
The visual is mind-boggling. We want to take you to the rainiest spot in the U.S., Hilo, Hawaii.
All right, so on average, to this date and time, about 3.5 inches of rain would fall, okay? But if we got 550% of average in Hilo, that would mean 19 inches of rain for the month. That's more than Las Vegas, Reno, and Phoenix get an entire year combined.
Okay,
right?
I got that visual. Let's talk snow. When if it was snow and 550% of snowfall, say in Syracuse, on average 15.8 inches to date for December, but 550% of that snowfall would make it 86.9 inches. That is more than 7 feet, as tall as Shaquille O'Neal.
Way up there.
You had a taste of that in Buffalo with 7 feet of snowfall.
Buried in it. Imagine getting that month after month. You couldn't keep up with it.
So 550% above average is staggering. It's way above outside the average for sure.
I like the snow comparison because it piles up. We kind of lose perspective, Sam, when that water seeps into the ground, but we know it has been an epic storm in Northern California for sure.
Yeah, it's really true. When you put it in perspective to where people live, everyone can go, wow, that's kind of amazing. All right, it's one of the most incredible drives you will ever make if you get the chance to do it. I make myself do it once a year because it's like my happy place. Driving the PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway, but you can't drive it now because you would drive right into this roadblock. We're going to talk live to Caltrans to find out how long this spectacular stretch of America will be shut down. We'll be right back.
Currently in our area, 70 degrees under fair skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 78. Winds west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 53. Winds light and variable. Wednesday, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny. High 78. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Nourished. Rescued. Protected. Given new hope. During the Subaru Share the Love event, Subaru owners feel it too. Because when you take home a new Subaru, we donate $250 to helping those in need. We'll have given $50 million over 7 years. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
I've always loved exploring and looking for something better. That's the way I look at life. Especially now that I live with a higher risk of stroke due to AFib, a type of irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. I was taking warfarin, but I wondered if I kept digging, could I come up with something better? My doctor told me about Eliquis for 3 important reasons. 1, in a clinical trial, Eliquis was proven to reduce the risk of stroke better than warfarin. 2, Eliquis had less major bleeding than warfarin. And 3, unlike warfarin, there's no routine blood testing.
Don't stop taking Eliquis unless your doctor tells you to, as stopping increases your risk of having a stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve or abnormal bleeding. While taking Eliquis, you may bruise more easily, and it may take longer than usual for any bleeding to stop. Seek immediate medical care for sudden signs of bleeding, like unusual bruising. Eliquis may increase your bleeding risk if you take certain medicines. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures.
Those 3 important reasons are why Eliquis is a better find for me.
Ask your doctor today if Eliquis is right for you.
The Men's Warehouse holiday sale is on. Get a new look and celebrate the season with confidence. Get select suits for $179.99. Plus, buy one, get one free on almost everything else in the store. Confidence suits you. Only at Men's Warehouse.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Kevin.
Blah, blah, insurance. Person, come help.
Hey, Grandma. 6 callers ahead of us, Jimmy.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. There to help you get to a better state.
If you're driving and you can't see clearly for 1 second at 60 miles per hour, you can't see clearly for 88 feet. And a lot can happen in 88 feet. That's why Bosch created the new Icon with ClearMax 365. It's a rubber technology for longer lasting performance, not found on any other wiper blade. Because like you, Bosch cares about what's ahead.
Seatbelts, headrests, and airbags help you survive a crash. But if you upgrade your headlights, you may even avoid one. See farther, wider, better. Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania.
Christmas is days away, so let's act fast, really fast. Let's do must-have, know-how, just right, right now. Last minute? You got it. Or get one of these. Let's put the list to bed. Add up the savings and count down the days. That's how to holiday. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Buy a combo kit and get up to $150 toward any cordless power tool, radio, or battery.
The waterlogged West getting hit with more rain and snow. It is good news for the drought, but bad news for places that are still trying to dry out from last week's storms.
It's just particularly tough, particularly for those burn areas. You know, you've seen the dark black hills where the burn scars are, some of which already are under flood watches, those areas. And we're going to see, well, the potential for more slides in the days ahead. So let's get caught up with Crystal Egger, our eyes on the West Coast. Gorgeous eyes they are, Crystal. Let's talk about this. How many more problems do we think we're going to have with burn areas? Because I know even after the rain, these things can come down.
Absolutely. Well, so far with this first round, it's been slow and steady. That's just how we need it here in Southern California. Another round of heavier hitting rain that comes later tonight. That's the one we're concerned about. So we already have some flash flood watches posted. You're looking at a camera of LAX here. There have been a few delays already. You can tell the ground is wet from the rain falling this morning. It hasn't been terribly heavy, 1/4 of an inch or less in most areas, but there have been some visibility issues. So that is why there are some delays out there. Flash flood watches have been posted. This is in anticipation of what's coming tonight over those burn areas. Those fire icons you see, that's where there are burn scars. And as we know, we can't absorb much rain there. So this wet weather pattern is going to bring the first round we're getting this morning and then a second round late tonight and throughout the day tomorrow. If we get a 1/2 inch an hour over one of these burn scars, we could see more mud and debris flow. So something to watch. In Orange County, there's the Silverado burn scar. There's a flash flood watch over that area. So we'll keep you updated. But as I said, slow and steady is really the way to go with the rainfall. So we'll see how it plays out with this second round. And of course, for the drive into work here in Southern California, you guys, we have so many issues out there already. We've accumulated a lot of oil on the roads, and it's slick once again.
And Crystal, you're good as well, right? Your house, you're fine.
Yes, absolutely. We're in a safe zone and no burn scars near us. So just got to get to work safely and remember where those umbrellas are. We don't get to use them enough around here.
Yeah, well, it looks like you got to use them today. All right, KNBC meteorologist Crystal Egger, thank you so much for joining us. We only put the best on the Weather Channel. I watch Crystal when I'm out west. She's that good. All right, last week's powerful storm still causing some major problems in California this morning. Mudslides have been shutting down part of the PCH. Now, all of this did happen north of Malibu, and now this area could stay closed for a while. Some folks are saying even a month. So let's get together with Patrick Chandler this morning with the California Department of Transportation. Hey, Patrick, are you with us this morning?
Yes, I am.
Thank you for being with us. Glad to hear you. How many miles the PCH, when we're talking about this, are actually shut down due to this debris flow or slide?
It's about 9 miles.
So 9 miles. That's a long stretch. From what area to what area are we talking about?
it's just west of Malibu in Ventura County from Yerba Buena Road to Las Posas Road to the north.
All right, we're looking at some of the images now, and it's unbelievable how deep it looks. But when you get out in the middle of that, do we have any reports about how deep that flow is? Is it above a person's head? Is it 2 people high? Is it 10 feet high? I don't know.
Yeah, it's about in some locations about 4 feet high, and other locations about 6 feet high. A lot of that debris came down so much so that it actually pushed a lot of the K-rails almost 25 to 75 feet across the road in different locations. So it's a lot of debris coming down. Now,
those K-rails, those are the big, heavy cement things that sit on the side of the road all along the PCH there that will trap, catch little rocks that may rumble so they don't get across the road. Those things are how heavy? You guys know better than I do, but they're hundreds of pounds, right?
Well, yeah, they're about 20,000 pounds. They're built to withstand a hit from a vehicle. So they were also pinned together. So for that debris to push those things across the highway, that's a lot of force.
All right. Now, I just was wowed by that, and I may have asked you, I hope I didn't already, but when do we think this will be cleared? How long do you think we're going to have this problem?
Well, we're looking at 3 to 4 weeks, but with the rains today, there could be more that comes down because it's in the Springs Fire burn area, the fire that happened last May. So we might have more problems.
All right. Thanks so much, Patrick. I appreciate your time with the Department of Transportation, just getting you caught up on some of those road problems that are in the California area. As he said, more rain falling in those areas today. We'll be right back.
Oh, I love game night. Oh, it's a house and a car.
So far, you're horrible at this, Flo.
Yeah, no talent for drawing, Flo. House, car. Oh, raise the roof. No one?
Remember when we used to raise the roof, Diane?
Oh, quiet, Richard. I'm trying to make sense of Flo's terrible drawing.
I'll draw the pants off that thing.
Oh, hats on hamburgers. Dancing. Drive-in movie theater.
Home and auto.
Squares. Lamp.
Lines. Stupid, dumb.
No. Home and auto bundle from Progressive. Saves you money. Yay, game night. So much fun.
We're taking outdoor living to the extreme. The Ultimate Sportsman's Lodge. Take these amazing mountain views, add in some wild neighbors, and you have every outdoorsman's dream.
Look at this view.
It's high-tech, handcrafted, and full of surprises and celebrity outdoor enthusiasts. Tom Brokaw, Huey Lewis, and Jim Belushi. Come inside the Ultimate Sportsman's Lodge. New series, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on Great American Country.
Currently in our area, 70 degrees under fair skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 78. Winds west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 53. Winds light and variable. Wednesday, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny. High 78. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Walmart has everything you need to make your signature Christmas dish.
Mine is mouth-watering mashed potatoes. I mix my russets with milk, butter, and cream cheese to make them super creamy. And yours?
Sock it to me spiral cut ham.
Whoa, you made this?
Yep, I just take a Sam's Choice super premium spiral cut ham from Walmart, bake it flat side down, tint the foil so all the juices can mingle.
Who are you?
Ham Man.
Walmart has everything you need for Christmas dinner at unbeatable prices. Guaranteed by Savings Catcher. Walmart.
Mega Red is an omega-3 supplement recognized by the Hope Heart Institute. Research shows omega-3s may reduce the risk of coronary heart disease. The omega-3s in Mega Red are easily absorbed by the body, and it's just one small pill a day. Support your heart health with Mega Red.
Dave, I'm sorry to interrupt. I gotta take a sick day tomorrow.
Dads don't take sick days. Dads take NyQuil. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine.
Ring, ring.
Progresso.
I can't believe I'm eating bacon-enriched creamy cheese before my sister's wedding.
Well, it's only 100 calories, so you'll be ready for that dress.
Uh-huh.
You don't love the dress?
I love my sister.
40 flavors, 100 calories or less.
Glade invited me to sing How Their Holiday Scent Made Me Feel, which inspired this song.
Fill the air with joyful noise. Ring the bell and raise your voice. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. Lift your light and let it shine. Let it shine, shine, shine.
I'm Randy White, Hall of Fame football player, and I'm a PC user. And PC-Matic is all you'll ever need. In today's internet-connected world, you need the best defense from online threats. PC-Matic smashed the record books for virus detection in the latest Virus Bulletin RAP test. PC-Matic security is the best and all you'll ever need. PC-Matic optimizes your computer's performance and extends its useful life. PC-Matic scheduled maintenance is all you'll ever need. PC-Matic costs $150 for 5 computers for the rest of your life. All updates included and no annual renewals for one low price. You'll never need to purchase another security or PC maintenance product ever. PC-Matic is made and supported right here in the USA. Take it from me, Randy White, a PC user. PC-Matic is all you'll ever need.
.com. Click the mic and enter code WEATHER. Or call 888-SWEET-90.
Ride on the most treacherous highway in the world to experience the high risk of heavy rescue. Highway Through Hell, Sundays at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Good morning, 52 minutes past the hour. Welcome back to AMHQ. All morning long, we've been tracking these pockets of dense fog just blanketing parts of the Midwest and the East Coast. And we want to share some of the social pictures that you send us. Thank you so much for sharing outside your window. This, though, came from a tower cam. It's one of our favorite pictures this morning. A hawk just, hanging over on top of the building there. Look at, he's even peeking over our banner.
All right, take the banner, take it off.
And here we have from Wayne Etherholt. A bit of fog this morning in St. Pete, taller than palm trees, more obscure than lower trees. Thank you, Wayne. And this is coming to us from a foggy Michigan. To Sam, Laura Bagley would say thick as pea soup. Maria called it as such earlier today.
I did.
We also saw peanut butter.
Thick as peanut butter. That's pretty thick.
That was out there. That was out there today. Guys, we might as well get caught up on a little bit of winter weather, too, because it seems like we're going to have a couple of bouts of it in the next couple of weeks. Let's get to Tom and Mike in the lab.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. We're going to talk about a little bit of rain that could be coming your way across the south, and then the possibility of some snow that rolls in through the weekend, and then what comes beyond that, maybe for Christmas. Let's go over to Tom Nizzle and kind of check it out for you this morning. Tom, we look at our computer models trying to pick up on a system that may develop in coastal Texas. The thing about it is the cold air, you look at this 32-degree line, is way north.
Relatively far north, and by the time this system gets its moisture up in the cold air, there's not a lot of moisture to tap.
All right, so where does this go? What do we think happens with it?
Well, this system here, and this is the U.S. model, the GFS model, and it is showing the system coming out of the Gulf. A lot of rain in the warm air there in the southeastern U.S. The system transfers over to the coast here, and then it gradually will work its way off the coast and move northward. This doesn't have the kind of energy in the upper atmosphere to turn this into one of these major nor'easters. Okay. What it does is it takes it off the coast and brings marginal precipitation back into New York State.
So in that solution, if you're traveling, it'd be a southern rain type of thing, but not a terrible travel weekend necessarily.
That's correct in that solution. The European model, though, is a little more robust with this system. More moisture that it taps off the Gulf. It's a little stronger system. The cold air is a little further south, and so we'll actually see the development of wintry weather going across the Appalachians here and then working its way up into the northeast as well. And as this system moves its way just a little northward here, there is a little more precipitation to work with in interior New England.
All right, takeaway as far as snow totals go, we may need to be concerned a little bit about the southern Appalachians here. Very hilly here. I-81 could be a factor for us, and then points northbound.
The I-81 corridor certainly, and then as you get into Pennsylvania, into upstate New York, and in and around the Adirondacks in particular, that would be the solution for snow. The GFS model, not quite as bullish. It doesn't put as much in the Appalachians, but it certainly does in upstate New York.
All right, so we're going to watch this one very closely. Devil in the details, as Tom always says, but check back with us. Forecast not to come in there till Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so we got some time to really work out the forecast, guys.
All right, and for weeks to come.
There you go. All right, let's turn to the view from above. Check out these amazing pictures. I do. I can't help it. The Geminid meteor shower right along with the northern lights. I mean, talk about gorgeousness. This was at Sweden's Abisko National Park, and right when that shower was peaking over the weekend, some sky watchers reported seeing 140 meteors in just 1 hour.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Fantastic. I just want to get out of the way so you can see some of these. These are the northern lights that are kind of getting mixed in there. I know. I just honestly feel like I should just do this. A mysterious and spectacular display of the reds, the greens, the purples, and everything. So we thought we'd kind of, in this edition of Brainstorm, kind of talked about the intricate brilliance and the details of the northern lights. It's our wow behind the weather.
The stunning Aurora Borealis, or Northern Lights, are actually a result of a cosmic event happening about 93 million miles away. When nuclear fission escapes from the surface of the sun, protons and electrons become what's called solar wind and barrel toward the Earth with speeds up to 1 million miles an hour. At this speed, you could fly all the way around the world in about a minute and a half. When they reach the Earth, these charged particles follow the lines of the planet's magnetic field, or magnetosphere, and they're pulled to the poles where the magnetic force is the strongest. As electrons in the solar wind enter the atmosphere, they interact with oxygen molecules, which gives us the red and green colors, and nitrogen molecules creating the blue and violet colors. And these reactions can produce up to 10 million megawatts of power. That's a rate of about 5,000 times greater than the peak power output of the Hoover Dam. And with all this power, some aurora formations, called curtains, can actually be bright enough to read a newspaper at midnight.
So read the newspaper?
Yeah, and it's truly bright. I mean, it should be on everybody's bucket list. If you can make one of the trips to go see them.
Amazing. I love those.
I saw them in Iceland. Yeah, incredible. I'll never, ever forget it. That's it for AMHQ this morning. We've got a lot of weather to track and cover. So Weather Center Live continues with Chris Warren and Alexandra Steele coming up right now in the house. 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Have an amazing day.
Currently in our area, 72 degrees under fair skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 78. Winds west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 53. Winds light and variable. Wednesday, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny. High 78. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Talk about ice on the roads. The freezing rain once again being problems to people this morning as you head out and about. That system is on the move. A look at who is next for a wintry mix and a lot of rain.
Hey, ice on the roads and the signs in a big way. But it's not just today's storms we're watching. The last weekend before Christmas is this weekend, and it could be a wet one for millions. We're tracking the possible impacts of the next storm.
You ready for Christmas?
Almost.
All right, a few more cities, though, getting into the December snow. But everyone wants to know who will see scenes like this, right? Of course, it's Christmas Day. You want the snow coming down. We've got your first look at the forecast for a white Christmas.
And the amazing pictures and stories of 2014. The landslide in Osceola, Washington, just one of the unforgettable events of this year. We take a look at some of the most iconic pictures in weather from this year. Weather and science. That's next on Weather Center Live. thank you for joining us today. I'm Chris Warren.
And alongside Chris, I'm Alexandra Steele. Thank you so much. Hope you're getting good starts this Wednesday. Many of you waking up to a troubling commute. Another round of rain and wintry weather is heading east.
In a big way. And that messy stuff starting in Minnesota, where you're in for a blustery day. You can hear some of that ice, more blowing snow, a possibility freezing rain when you see a sign looking like this. Icy conditions was the scene yesterday. Freezing rain, coating some signs in western Minnesota, coating with about 1/4 of an inch of ice. That's going to cause some problems, including several crashes, especially along Interstate 94. An icy scene right there. And next question, where is the mess going to go? And Alex is here to answer that one. Hey, Alexandra.
All right, Chris, it is all moving east, right? So we're going to take that rain with us. So here's a look at who's going to see it and when as we head through this week. You know, a lot of big weather happening, no question about that. Here's the water vapor image. And really most important when you're looking at this, where are those pinks showing up? That's where all the juice is in the atmosphere. And New York, Washington, Baltimore, that is all heading towards you this morning and through this day and into tonight. So here's look where the rain is now. We're kind of watching this area of low pressure kind of circle around. For the balance of everyone, it's really been a rainmaker, and for the most part, the calling card of this will be. But of course, there is some snow around Marquette and Green Bay. Farther south, though, this line moved through Atlanta this morning. The sun is out. The roads are drying out. Macon to Albany, Georgia, pushing eastward. We've been live in Augusta this morning. Rain continues to push east, and it will move to the coast. Pretty light in nature, though. So as we head through the afternoon, here's the timeline on it. Washington, D.C., the rain finds you at about 1 o'clock. For New York City, around 5 o'clock, and into Boston around 11 o'clock. So let's take it now to Chicago, where it has been incredibly mild, hasn't it, Chris?
It certainly has. It has been mild now with the wind, feeling a little bit colder in the Windy City. And meteorologist Mike Seidel, he is live there along Lakeshore Drive. Mike, how are you doing? See someone with shorts behind you running along?
Of course, here comes another guy with shorts on, because it's not last December. In fact, 1 year ago today, it was 7 degrees above zero. This morning we're in the mid-40s. The average low is 20, so we're way above average. And what happens is you get that warmer air with all the moisture, and the dew point was at like 42 or 43 going out over Lake Michigan. Water temperature here 36, but we don't have ice like we did this time last year, and you get instant fog. So we had a lot of fog issues this morning, but the visibility has come up nicely. We're looking at the skyline looking southbound. There's the Hancock building up around 1,200 feet. So the ceiling is still down around 1,000 feet or lower, but the visibility, the straight line visibility is much, much better. The airport's now up around 5 or 6 miles. That's really going to help you getting in and out of O'Hare Midway, although we've had a smattering of flights canceled and delayed. But the temperatures are going to be coming down, and we're talking about dropping slowly through the afternoon. That front has blown on through the Quad Cities. I just checked Rockford, still in the mid-40s, not a whole lot of wind, but you get back towards Des Moines and through all of Iowa up through all of the upper Midwest. We've got wind gusts 30, 35 miles an hour. Wind chills in some spots in Iowa already below zero, and temperatures in the upper teens. It's not going to get that cold, but by dinner time we'll see low temperatures down between 35 and 37, and then by tomorrow morning to 27. Chris or high tomorrow afternoon around freezing here. The average high 34. So we're getting back to reality. But again, compared to last December, January and February, nobody, I don't think, is really complaining about this, because they know that it's going to get colder, and you know, after last winter, they don't want to have to go through that again. So it's nice to be out here on the walkway, not slipping and sliding and shivering. Chris?
All right, Mike, thank you very much.
All right, things are certainly going to improve, though, right? If you like it cold there, that's
right.
for sure. All the joggers out.
If you like it cold.
Lakeshore Drive, all the runners out there this morning were loving it at 40 degrees. It should be 20, right?
Right. Yeah, it's nice to be out there. We're watching some big cities, including Washington, D.C., because we're watching a storm that's going to be moving across the southern part of the country later on this week, and it's eventually going to move into the mid-Atlantic and to the Northeast this weekend.
Yeah, including Washington, D.C., all festive this morning. You are going to be seeing a wintry mix. It's way late in the weekend. We're going to tell you how bad it will be. Our storm specialist, Carl Parker, now is tracking it for us. Hi, Carl. What do you think?
Hi there. Big cities and big questions about this forecast. And part of the problem is that the storm is now a very long way away. And we'll begin with where it is exactly in the water vapor picture. And we're talking about a couple of pieces of energy that are up here near the Aleutian Islands, and another one now offshore and south of Alaska. Something of that is going to come out of that area. This is following the mid-level energy. Will drop down into the southwest right in here, and then come out and across the Ohio Valley and into the east. But the exact nature and character of that system remains to be determined. So this is the European model forecast. What we're looking at here is all precipitation, no matter what type, in green, and then that blue line indicates the surface freezing line. We're using that as a very rough proxy for the division between rain and wintry weather. So what we've got largely here on Saturday morning is a rainstorm, but then where the cold air is a little more entrenched, say around the 81 corridor, that's where we start to get into some heavier snow in the European model's estimation, and then the storm lifts up and moves offshore. Doesn't really get that strong, but it does bring some moisture back and into the colder air across parts of the Northeast on Sunday. Now, the GFS model is not as bullish about this idea, so the European model showing some heavier snow along 81 in western Virginia, western North Carolina, lighter snow across the Ohio Valley. The GFS saying that it's not as strong of a low, there's not as much cold air, there's not as much moisture, and so it's showing some of that, but again, it's not as bullish about that idea. And very quickly, I want to look farther ahead. Got some colder air coming down later this week, but then behind that, the big question is what will happen on Christmas week, and the modeling generally agreeing, Chris, that we expect to see a lot of cold air, and that could mean wintry weather for Christmas. Over to you.
And that is a big question, Carl. Thank you.
All right, we'll have to see. These kind of features are pretty weak, so there's not a lot of strength in the forecast. All right, West Coast stormy round 3 continues.
And Los Angeles getting in on the action. Wet roads right now as we look live at LA.
Grandpa Bodie, Grandma said you used to be out of control.
Really? I guess I did take some risks. I trained a little bit differently. I was a little too honest sometimes. The media is useless.
You were out of control.
But not always.
What was that?
Sunday, a find that leaves a prospector speechless.
What is it? What do you got?
Oh my God. That's Aqua Boy. And a wish come true no one will forget.
Oh, I found a big one.
I'm not sure who got their wish today, me or him.
Bam! Prospectors, new episode Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 72 degrees under fair skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 78. Winds west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 53. Winds light and variable. Wednesday, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny. High 78. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
The Weather Channel unearths the investigations, the mysteries.
Nobody was flying the plane.
Why planes crash. Next Monday, here on the Weather Channel.
If you're driving and you can't see clearly for 1 second at 60 miles per hour, you can't see clearly for 88 feet. And a lot can happen in 88 feet. That's why Bosch created the new Icon with ClearMax 365. It's a rubber technology for longer lasting performance, not found on any other wiper blade. Because like you, Bosch cares about what's ahead.
Bosch Icon wiper blades with ClearMax 365.
From I wonder what it is to you'll never guess. Everything from LL Bean is backed by the same rock-solid guarantee. So while they keep guessing, you know that we'll take it back or replace it. LL Bean, guaranteed to please.
Coffequince number 5, the sleepless night. Sorry. Robitussin DMX Nighttime's dual-action liquid instantly soothes your throat and delivers fast, powerful cough relief. Robitussin, don't suffer the consequences.
Christmas is days away, so let's act fast, really fast. Let's do must-have, know-how, just right, right now. Last minute? You got it. Or get one of these. Let's put the list to bed. Add up the savings and count down the days. That's how to holiday. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Buy a combo kit and get up to $150 toward any cordless power tool, radio, or battery.
Get fast-acting, long-lasting relief from heartburn with doctor-recommended Gaviscon. It neutralizes stomach acid and is the only product that forms a protective barrier that helps keep stomach acid in the stomach where it belongs. For fast-acting, long-lasting relief, try Gaviscon.
Well, take a look at this. Parts of California's PCH could be shut down for a month because of all the mud, the rocks, and the debris. Threats there for mudslides from last week's storm as more rain continues to push in, and we'll show you how much coming up. Also, transportation officials say it's just way too dangerous, so they have to close it down. The worst was near the Point Mugu, about 17 miles from Malibu. Some areas there covered with up to 6 feet of mud. All right, you can see all those shutdowns and the closures. More rain, unfortunately, coming, but fortunately, because we desperately do need it, right? So here's a look at what we've seen. In San Francisco, 1.62 inches, the average total for December rain. Look where we are. This is actually the top 5 so far in San Francisco for wettest Decembers. Already 9.14, and we're not even done yet. And we've got a few storms in the offing. This storm, and then if you can see off the coast, 2 more kind of in the pipeline coming up. So certainly beneficial rain, and now the rain not quite as heavy as it was, so not coming in as much in earnest. So the flooding and the potential debris flooding, certainly not as bad as it was last week. So here's the timeline on it. It's funny, California, especially Northern California, just has been the beeline. And watch this thing kind of rotate in from San Francisco, this too getting into Los Angeles, again as we head toward Wednesday night. So there's the next round into Thursday. Things quiet down, but then another storm hot on its heels. So here's what we're going to see in terms of totals. San Francisco to Redding, the most in terms of rainfall. Stockton, California, kind of east of San Fran, had so much rain, record rain for the year, for yesterday, for the day. So record rain, no question about it. San Francisco as well. Top 5 wettest Decembers thus far. More rain coming in about 3 o'clock this afternoon, through this evening and into tonight. Los Angeles actually down for the year, but more rain is coming in. But Chris and Carl, what we've seen, the Sierra snowpack, so beneficial, becomes the drinking water. That more snow coming in earnest, right?
Yeah, Alex, thank you very much. Yeah, more snow coming in, but not compared to what we've seen in the past as far as the snowpack goes.
Yeah,
seeing that.
That's a satellite picture of the snowpack there 2 years ago, just about 2 years ago on the left. Notice how green or greener the Central Valley is. Then on the right, this is about a year ago. Terrible, terrible year for snowfall. And you can see how much tanner the Central Valley looks. And, you know, the Central Valley is hugely important in terms of agriculture. So there's a look at the snowpack, the equivalent last week. This is the snow water equivalent. And these values are definitely coming up. And the reason why the mountains are so important is because you go generally from April until October without getting much rain or snow. And so the water comes from these mountains and fills the reservoirs and then runs down into that Central Valley, which is one of the most prolific farming regions in the entire country. In fact, it really is. And there's a look at the percentages of the different produce that we get from this area and the nuts that we get. 99% of the almonds, the olives, and the pistachios come from that one little strip of land in California. So if they don't get enough water, you can bet that those things are going to get more expensive. It's already happening, in fact, with avocados. 87% of avocados come from there, and 92% of wine grapes.
And it's interesting because there's that Mediterranean climate in California.
Yes.
This is a lot of things, olives, garlic, pistachios, wine grapes, that you think of when you think of Italy.
Right, exactly
Very
right.
similar climates.
You're exactly right about that. So there's a look at the Lake Shasta storage levels, and this is a reservoir that feeds, you know, the entire state in terms of drinking water and agriculture. That's the historical level right there. That's where we are, that white line. So we're well below the historical average, but there is an upturn there. There's a little turn upwards, and so hopefully things are going to improve this year.
And more rain is on the way.
That's right.
Let's go back to Alex in the studio.
All right, thanks, guys. Well, Christmas is still more than a week away, but who will have a white Christmas? Is it you? From Little Rock to Ludlow, Vermont, we are breaking down the chances. Coming up next.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Everybody knows that.
Well, did you know genies can be really literal?
No.
What is your wish?
No. Okay. $1 million.
Oh no. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Here's a question for you. As nations develop over the next 25 years, the world will have almost twice as many cars. How much fuel will be needed to power them? About the same as today? 50% more? 100% more? The answer is about the same as today. By 2040, advances in fuels and vehicles could enable about 75% better fuel economy than today. Take the energy quiz, round 2. Energy lives here.
For most people, earning cash back ends here at the purchase. But there's a new card in town. Introducing the Citi Double Cash Card. It lets you earn cash back when you buy and again as you pay. That's cash back twice. It's cash back with a side of cash back. The Citi Double Cash Card, the only card that lets you earn cash back twice on every purchase, with 1% when you buy and 1% as you pay. With 2 ways to earn, it makes a lot of other cards seem one-sided.
How to fix plumber's butt. Step 1, identify the problem. Step 2, carefully remove shirt. Step 3, put on a Duluth long-tail tee. Step 4, double-check your work. The Duluth long-tail tee, 3 inches longer to keep you covered. Get one, only at DuluthTrading.com.
Say hello to the new Weather.com, a beautiful new design with weather as the main story. The information you need, the site you rely on, the brand you trust.
Hey, Jennifer Fuzzmike, Trooper Money Slang. Aw, scram.
I'm Chris Mike, Jubby Robon, shall to lead up in Kisbet.
Peace charity, get town down.
For liver, toothpaste, dummy way.
Papa should be still in her first.
Sex and Nene. But I'm ahead, Maxis Gar and jump a left, flap a down.
Bro, na brood. What?
Catch up on what everyone's talking about with the X1 Entertainment Operating System, preloaded with the latest episodes of the top 100 shows, only from Xfinity.
Mom and Dad told us they had just made their funeral and burial prearrangements. We thought they already had taken care of that. When we learned it was through Beth Israel and Eternal Light, we knew everything would be handled in the most caring and professional way. We realized it will be one of the most difficult days of our lives. It inspired my husband and me to make our own prearrangements so the burden wouldn't fall on our children when that day comes. It's not an easy thing to think about, but I'm so glad we did.
Call right now. To order your Lipozene, call 1-800-997-4948. That's 1-800-997-4948.
Look at this! Listen to that!
See this winter like never before. Amazing starts here. The Weather Channel Mornings.
Currently in our area, 73 degrees under fair skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 78. Winds west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 53. Winds light and variable. Wednesday, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny. High 78. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Well, snow blew into the biggest little city in the world yesterday. Reno, Nevada was hit with less than an inch of snow, but the caveat, Chris, it all came down within an hour.
Yeah, in a hurry. All the snow made it difficult to see on several highways outside of the city. The Truckee River right there. Slippery conditions and some thick snow coming down pretty fast, led to at least a couple of accidents there. And it is time now for the winter weather update, and there will be more winter weather and more scenes like that. This is the time of year to
like
see those scenes.
Those big fat white flakes, beautiful.
It is beautiful. Fun little town there, not too far away from Tahoe either.
Yeah,
nice little deal. Let's go ahead right now and take a look at what's going on, where else we're seeing some of that snow, and that's right here in the Midwest. And you can see the circulation, a little spin right there. And as we look, and we'll show you where there is right now some snow coming down. That's the blue on the radar, and the radar is showing snow throughout parts of Wisconsin, but notice how it's kind of fragmented here and there. So it's gonna be the snow showers, but with those snow showers, it can come down in a hurry, and it can reduce visibilities, but not too bad at this time. Here's a look at what the radar shows us. So the computer shows us the radar will look like and where the clouds are going to be. So where the snow and where the clouds are going to be going through time into tomorrow. Some of the same places getting it right now, but notice this kind of banding look to it indicates we're going to get some showers. So you can see some of that heavy downbursts of snow, likely not going to last all day, but the chance for that to happen will last throughout the day through tomorrow morning. Coming off of the lakes here, you can see up to about a foot of snow. This is typically one of the snowier spots, especially this time of year. 5 to 8 inches possible throughout parts of Maine. Also looking at some snow again. Notice the proximity to the lakes. We're going to see about 1 to 3 inches there. And then the end of the week into the weekend, we're watching a couple of things here, a couple of upper level disturbances, and it looks like they're going to come together Friday on the east side of the Rockies here. And the big question is, what exactly is going to happen with that? Because we do know there is some cold air in place, and as that low develops on Friday, I expect some areas to get some snow, Alex. It's just a matter of how much and exactly where based on the track, because that is still uncertain.
All right, well, we will follow it, Chris. Thank you. Well, it is beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Look at this beautiful shot. Broncos fan 77. Hats off to you. Thank you for the gorgeous pictures. All right, so where are we going to see scenes like this? Who will see a white Christmas? Isn't that the million-dollar question? Well, let's walk you through some likely spots. All right, Christmas, this is Christmas Eve forecast. You can see, of course, the farther north you go, the Minnesotas, the Montanas, certainly they're most likely. Northern portion of the country has the moisture and also, of course, the cold temperatures. And as we head to Christmas Day, Denver 34, potentially some snow for you. Not in New York, though, or Charlotte or Atlanta, Georgia. But here's the timing. New York, Christmas Eve, Wednesday rain, Thursday dry and 40 degrees. In Chicago, you'll have a dry Christmas, it looks like at this point. Sunny and 28, cold. Snow comes in. Technically, meteorologically, to have a white Christmas, you need an inch of snow on the ground Christmas morning, but those are semantics, right? Orlando, 68 degrees and partly sunny skies. Christmas Eve, 70, beautiful for you. Denver looks pretty likely for you. It could be nice. Christmas Eve with the snow coming down from Cherry Creek to downtown. Wednesday as well. Christmas Eve into Christmas. Snow showers, certainly beautiful. And of course to Seattle, some snow around, 40 degrees, and Christmas Eve, some rain. So Chris is going to come in and join us. Yes. All right, Seattle, you're a North Pacific Northwest lover. What do you think?
Cold rain is what that looks like.
Technically, this is what it looks like, but when you're living there, it's cold rain.
It's cold rain. Except what can happen is on the higher hills. That's where, when you have marginal temperatures like that, that's where you can see the accumulation of the snow.
Gotcha.
And some snow on the grass, maybe.
All right, so for the real snow, you're going high up in elevation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, already the question flying around is who will see it. So, all right, Chris, this is the poll. Chicago, Buffalo, Philly, Omaha, and Little Rock. What cities will see a white Christmas?
And that's the question. You can go to our website. It's for fun. You can go to weather.com/white Christmas and vote in our online poll. And will it be one of these cities to take the snowflake crown this year? That's the question for you.
All right, who had the snowflake crown last year? Remember?
I think this is the first year we're doing it this way.
Oh, okay, good. All right, well, there you go. All right, well, we want to see your videos, so let us know why you deserve a white Christmas. You can share in it as well. My White Christmas to 99,000.
Dad, I know I haven't said this often enough, but thank you.
Thank you, Mom, for protecting my future.
Thank you for being my hero and my dad.
Military families are uniquely thankful for many things. The legacy of USAA Auto Insurance could be one of them. If you're a current or former military member or their family, get an auto insurance quote and see why 92% of our members plan to stay for life.
New Move Free Ultra brings a revolution to joint health. It's the smallest joint health pill, now with a new triple action formula for joint, cartilage, and bone health. Move on to new Move Free Ultra.
Here's a great gift idea for the whole family. Now with Walmart credit card special financing.
In a world filled with ultra-high definition picture, the Vizio 4K Ultra HD TV will rise.
It works great with Vizio's 2.1 sound stand.
Where room-filling theater sound and ultra-high def collide.
You know what? You can stop with the over-dramatic movie trailer voice now.
And this time, it's personal.
And now get special financing when you use your Walmart credit card. More ways to Christmas joy. Walmart.
Rich, chewy caramel rolled up in smooth milk chocolate.
Let me know if this gets too hot.
Rolo, get your smooth on.
By 1914, the Dodge brothers quit the Ford Motor Company and set out on their own. They believed in more than the assembly line. They believed driving was a holy endeavor. 100 years later, the Dodge brothers' spirit lives on.
I'm Angela, and I quit smoking with Chantix. People who know me, they say, I never thought you would quit. But Chantix helped me do it.
Along with support, Chantix Varenicline is proven to help people quit smoking.
It gave me the power to overcome the urge to smoke.
Some people had changes in behavior, thinking or mood, hostility, agitation, depressed mood, and suicidal thoughts or actions while taking or after stopping Chantix. Some people had seizures while taking Chantix. If you have any of these, stop Chantix and call your doctor right away. Tell your doctor about any history of mental health problems, which could get worse while taking Chantix, or history of seizures. Don't take Chantix if you've had a serious allergic or skin reaction to it. If you develop these, stop Chantix and see your doctor right away, as some can be life-threatening. Tell your doctor if you have a history of heart or blood vessel problems or develop new or worse symptoms. Get medical help right away if you have symptoms of a heart attack or stroke. Decrease alcohol use while taking Chantix. Use caution when driving or operating machinery. Common side effects include nausea, trouble sleeping, and unusual dreams.
I'm a non-smoker. That feels amazing.
Ask your doctor if Chantix is right for you.
You know what's gone? Kevin? The aspartame in You'll Play Light, they took it out.
Oh, yeah.